Good morning, all you beautiful, radiant, moon-following light workers. I'm hoping you can hear me. I may be on my other page. Like I said, every Monday is a gift if I manage to get on to talk with you. If you are hearing me, if you are able to tune in to Moon-Powered Astrology this morning, please check in. Let me know you're here. We have quite a week coming up, and I'm going to be on Joan of Angels this Saturday with a full moon report. So we've got a week that Mercury moved in direct motion yesterday, right? Hallelujah. Can I get a hallelujah out there? Please put a note in the comments if you're here, if you're watching. And yeah, I have no idea if this is feeding through the proper page or not. I'll share it to this page, to the Moon-Powered page later if it is not coming through. I have been without my tech companion for a month, and that may continue. So I'm in a time with Mars and Gemini of learning. Going to have to learn to do my own stuff better. But I'm so glad to be here with you. And, we're in a new month, and this month is a huge, intense month. October is the 10th month, and that's a 1, and that tells you right there. The 0 tells you that you got to step through and, leave a lot of baggage behind and be dedicated to a new beginning, as it might seem like the world is falling apart around you. If you can hear me, please let me know, because I've got my earbuds in. It continues to be warm here in Southern California. Prayers go out to the East Coast, and as Puerto Rico continues recovering from Fiona. But Florida, the Carolinas particularly, lots of devastation there. So let's hold them in our thoughts as we drop into our heart this morning. So I want you to put your feet on the floor and breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your mouth. Just become aware of the energy and where your breath is as it comes and goes. Feel your butt supported by the chair, your hips. Feel your feet connecting with the earth as you bring the breath up all the way from that beautiful sustaining energy of the earth, all the way up, up, up through your body, all the way to the top of your head. And light above your crown now pours down through your body as every cell is enlivened, purified with this light. All thinkety-think, anything that distracts you from being right here in the present moment, now moves out back to its native nothingness. And if you're feeling a little jiggity this morning as Mercury moves forward, breathe in to the count of 4 through your nose. And breathe out to the count of 8 as if you were sucking through a straw. Anytime you do this, it calms your parasympathetic nervous system. So, in through your nose, 3, 4, white light pouring down, out through your mouth, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do a couple more of those. Be sure your belly's moving, that you are welcoming that life force from source into every cell of your body. Oh my gosh, Philip, hello. A high school buddy. Good morning. And now on the next inhalation, as you exhale, feel the energy, all that mental thinkety-think, drop behind your facial mask, down through your throat and your neck, down through your chest, coming to rest in your heart. And as the energy lands in your heart, see beautiful rose pink light filling your heart area and spreading throughout every cell of your body, that beautiful rosy quartz color that symbolizes self-love. Fill your well with self-love. Prime your pump with self-love, and you will navigate this crazy time with grace and ease. And on the next exhalation, see the color of a watermelon tourmaline. It's a beautiful stone. It's the stone, one of the stones for this Libra cycle. Half green, half pink, healing the heart and opening it to love again. Feel the bliss of this self-loving energy, this heart energy, expanding, moving through every one of those trillions of cells in your body. And now moving through your skin, out to fill your whole environment. And know that you carry this vibration of love, this frequency of love and above with you throughout this day, throughout this week. It is the answer. Particularly in this Libra cycle, love is the answer, but it reminds us that love is always the answer. So raise your frequency. Don't allow yourself to get polarized in these times that vie for your attention, but keep your vision of the highest good and greatest joy for yourself, your community, and the planet. It's so needed in this time. A couple more breaths in and out of your heart. And open your eyes and come to be with me. Well, as I mentioned, this is a big week. I don't know if my moon-powered people are able to see this, if I'm on. You know, Phil, you might tell me, am I on a Public Friends channel or am I on Moon-Powered Astrology's channel? I don't know where you're watching me from, but that would be helpful for me to know. So why is this? I mentioned this is a very busy week in the cosmos, and this month and November are huge and intense. The crescendo that has been building now brings us Saturn and Uranus coming into exactitude at 18, 19 degrees within a half a minute, within a half a degree, for the next 11 days, really. So it'll move through this week and the full moon and on into next week. So, oh, Micah, my goodness, hello. Micah's in my heart space in Bolinas. It's so good to see you. So we have the moon in Capricorn this morning. That's a beautiful way to kick off the week because Capricorn is the sign that tells us to take care of business, to get our ducks in a row, and to be willing to be task-oriented. Let me get it. And so we are in the first quarter of this cycle, first quarter moon. I know if you look up in the sky, you will see that that moon pie as the light grows. And moon rise is at noon and moon set is at midnight during the first quarter phase. And first quarter phase always reminds us that we've got, in this case, less than a week because we're coming to the end of the first quarter phase before the full moon. And so those new moon intentions that you set have to have action behind them. And that's what the first quarter reminds you to do. Mercury retrograde may have waylaid you, but it's direct now, and it's direct at 24 degrees of Virgo. Mercury is at home in Virgo. So the details that you might have missed, the things that you might have wanted to move forward on regarding putting your harvest into the mode of sharing and being of service is absolutely apropos now. This Libra cycle reminds us that it's time to share our harvest and to look at the relationships that we want to cultivate that help us do that. I'm looking over here because this is where my big old computer is with all of my notes. So the Mercury will move into Libra on the 10th of October. And then on the 17th, it'll be out of shadow. So for those of you who follow Mercury retrograde, if you're really affected by it, it's the ruler of my chart with my rising sign in Virgo. So I'm really affected by it. So I watch the way Mercury is moving and, really dot my I's and cross my T's. But if you're dealing with a big contract of some kind, you might want to look at your own chart. And should you want to navigate these times for your highest good and greatest joy, and really navigate these gnarly energies that are coming up and stay in your eagle's perch with your highest vision, then message me for a reading. And the link is on my Moon Powered Astrology page on Facebook. The link is always there, and you can go to my landing page, book a reading. You can also get on my mailing list. And my email list, if you put in your information for that, you will immediately get a bonus gift, the moon phases at a glance, and you can start following the moon and really tapping into the rhythms of life and utilizing the energy of the universe. So it's really powerful. I mentioned that we have this, let me find this, we have this square between Uranus and Saturn. This has been an overarching energy since 2021. And the first time we had the two really impacting our lives was the 1960s. And some of those of you out there were around then and moving into college and were aware of the, all of the revolutionary energies afoot then. And now, and in 2008, they opposed each other. So Saturn is the old traditional way. It's the top-down kind of institutional energy that we've seen in our government, throughout our whole society and throughout the world. Uranus is the new. And these two are squaring each other. And when there's a square, just like it sounds, it's a hard angle. And it tells you that those two divergent energies have to find a way to communicate. And so Saturn, we're really feeling the squeeze, like being in a vice of these old ways. And Uranus guides us to be innovative and inventive and tells us that this is the way we're going to create the new. But first, we are witnessing the dissolution of the old. And we're seeing it all around with Mars and Gemini. Remember, the media is going to be taking your attention, trying to polarize you, telling you there are no white hats. You're the one with the white hat. You're the one with the white hat of light. So don't get polarized. Don't use the energies that are afoot in politics, etc., to close your heart to one another. Open yourself to a dialogue. Why do you feel this way? Where does your viewpoint come from? And drop into your heart. Before you start speaking to somebody, drop into your heart and be willing to listen. So important. Because, as I've mentioned before, Mars is going to be in Gemini until March. It's going to move in retrograde motion, and so it will effectively be a 7-month transit through Gemini. And Gemini rules the media, and the media is corporately owned. So just be aware that sides are vying for your attention, but you have your own narrative. You are the creator of your reality, right? Yeah. So this Uranus and Saturn moving into exactitude definitely indicates financial turbulence. And if you look back to 2008, right now we are in the final square, the last quarter of this pairing, of this squaring of Uranus and Pluto. But they were opposite each other in 2008, and we all remember what 2008 was. That was really the beginning of getting the financial system completely rebirthed. But first we have the dissolution and the elimination, and then out of the innovation and the invention, for the highest good and greatest joy of all, keep that as one of your mantras, and it will help keep you in alignment so that you can really, really use your light in the best way in this time of awakening, and it will keep you sane. That's really that's really the bottom line, staying sane, right? So, in 2008, Pluto moved into Capricorn. So we have this as a backdrop. We're going to be talking more about that in a minute because Pluto will be moving forward after being retrograde since April 23rd. And we have the nodal axis in Taurus and Scorpio. And that is now at the same degree as this Uranus-Saturn square. And so that has to do with what we're leaving behind, what we're moving toward. but even more importantly, Taurus and Scorpio are the financial axis of the zodiac. So being present, staying in the moment, appreciating everything that you have. You know, if you have food and shelter and clothing and friends and community and work as love made visible, you are wealthy. And if you are healthy, you really have the capstone for wealth. Makes everything else possible. And with Mercury moving forward in Virgo, the sign of physical health, it reminds you to really review what you saw, particularly over the past, the Virgo cycle, the last cycle, and while Mercury has been retrograde in Virgo. What have been the messages around your health that have been coming through? Now we're in the cycle of balance. So with Libra, I really want you to feel your feet and to stay grounded. I've had a couple of friends have bad crises through a lack of balance. And so, of course, that theme moves throughout your whole life. You know, balancing your finances, your relationships, your business, all of these things. Balance, harmony, peace, beauty, justice. These are Libran words. So, as we are moving through the last quarter of this transit that I mentioned, and I'm working with this computer here, as we are moving through through this time, through this week, I'm going to guide you through the moon, what the moon's doing, because that can really be a key to your sanity. You know, the accelerated collapse of the old order is in the stars, and we're going to be witnessing it on Earth. It's ramping up now with this exact square during October and November. And we're really going to be witnessing it over the next 3 months. So this final quarter of the year and the last quarter of this transit, the last quarter is where we take stock. And we are called, it creates a crisis in consciousness, and we're seeing that everywhere in the world. But it asks us to shift our attitude so that we are in alignment, again, with the highest good and greatest joy of ourselves, of our families, of our community, of humanity. Holding that frequency, vibrating at that level, is one of the greatest gifts you can give the earth, that you can give the planet and put into your own life at this time. And so I also want to mention, we're coming into eclipse season. We feel eclipses 3 to 6 weeks out. So we're already feeling that. And we're going to have an eclipse on November 8th. We're going to have one on October 25th. That one will be solar. November 8th will be lunar. It will be total. And eclipses make permanent changes. Permanent changes. We feel that coming in our lives. So keep your hope alive. Remember, this was the year to dream big and take a leap of faith. And faith, holding the vision, allowing yourself to have a vision that's a high vision, and then aligning your decisions with your vision, and you will maintain your sanity, which is a big one right now. We always feel the eclipses, as I mentioned, as they head toward us. And, these eclipses, again, are on that financial axis. So how much do you need? Knowing that you're enough. That your bank account isn't really a reflection of whether you're enough. You are enough. You are a divine spark of the creative force manifested on this planet in this illusion we call humanity. So don't forget who you are. It's really important. Feed yourself with that which inspires you, with that which uplifts you, with that which keeps you on course. So I hope that you do have your vision crafted as we move into this last part of the year. And you look at where your attitude or your consciousness or your life may not be aligned with the vision that you have of what life can be. Step into that now. It's not airy-fairy. It's absolutely about raising your frequency. So today, the week begins on a good note. The aspects tell you that you have the determination and the passion to take your next steps. And as the Uranus Saturn square urges you to travel new roads, that's the high side of that square. Remember that it's urging you to travel new roads. It's getting the debris out of the way. so that you and your human vehicle can move forward with ease and grace. Two more Libran words. And then on Tuesday, the moon moves into Aquarius at 3:23 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And it receives only supportive aspects on Tuesday. So that mood continues. And Venus encourages social interactions that could lead to new relationships. So allow yourself to feel content and inspired by the events of tomorrow regarding what lies ahead of you. Allow that. Open your heart. Keep dropping into your heart. It is the answer. The heart has 40,000 neurons, they say. It has more neurons than the brain. So really dropping into your heart to see what's true rather than hearing all of the, the media and all of the prevailing dissension. So on Wednesday, you may get a reality check. Saturn's in the mix, so don't allow yourself to go too far off track. But confidence is strong as the day ends, thanks to Mars, and you can apply what you've learned. So remember that. As Mercury moves forward, it's really good to look at what have you learned. What did you learn? What did you learn during these retrograde periods? They began back in April, so we've had all these months. It happens every summer, but this one has been particularly intense. And we are also being asked to be deeper, to think deeper, to look deeper, to really be aligned with what's true for us. And as I said, to me, the answer to that is always love. Love is the answer. I know sometimes I get into, I'll get into heated debates, not so much anymore, but I'll just drop into my heart and ask myself what's true. And I'll hear my higher self say, what is your job? What is my job? To love. That's it, to love. Bring yourself around to love, because that's what it's all about. That's the creative force of the universe in my litany, okay? So on Thursday, the 5th, the moon moves into emotionally sensitive and dreamy Pisces at 5:46 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And the times that I talk about are always Pacific Daylight Time currently. And then we move into the Gibbous Phase as well as at 2:36 a.m. that morning. And it's time to polish your progress. So the Gibbous Phase is the phase where the moon rises at 3 p.m. and sets at 3 a.m. And each phase lasts 3.5 days. So the Gibbous Phase is what I call the pressure cooker phase, leading to the full moon. The pressure cooker phase, you'll find, I call it that because we are over 70% water, and we mirror the tides in the oceans, which are more erratic as we move through the Gibbous Phase, and it actually is mirrored also in our bodies as all the fluids, the lymph, the blood, the water in our bodies also begins to be more dramatic. And so as that is occurring, it's pushing you to look at the actions that you've taken on your intentions. Have you gotten distracted, scattered? Are you all over the place? Are you putting energy into areas that do not move your intentions forward? The intentions in health, relationship, business, family, beauty and rejuvenation. Only 3 or 4 intentions, because of course part of the process is feelization. Facts don't create. Remember that. Facts don't create. They'll keep you stuck, but feelings do. So living at the frequency of your intention and feeling what it feels like to step into, to live that frequency every day, will speed up your manifestation exponentially. Play with it, try it. And if you have had experiences with this, let me know. So the dreaminess that you might wake up with the Pisces moon gives way to more analytical energies later in the day. You might even think of a new project to embark on Thursday night if you're alert. Out of everything that you've learned, out of what you've been, the experiences you've been culling, looking through, you might find that there's a new project that comes into your mind that's been born, especially out of all this turmoil. If you felt really squeezed, ask Spirit, or look at what throughout this harvest season, how you can collect your energies, your gifts, your blessings, your talents, to put them forth in a new way with a new project. That's there for you as we build toward this full moon. And then on Friday, you might find that your thoughts are foggy when you wake up. You might even find that you had nightmares due to some of the planetary movements overnight, or you may have daymares as you wake up. But, the fears recede as the day unfolds. And then Neptune makes its monthly rendezvous with the moon later on. And this smooths things out. And you might find that what other people think of your ideas isn't so important. That there's, Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. So it's that higher octave of love. It's that higher love. So, well, Judy, good morning. Lovely to have you check in. And Saturday, the 8th, we have a full moon. No, actually, sorry. I'm ahead of myself. We've got something big on Saturday. It's not the full moon. That's on Sunday. But on Saturday the 8th, the moon moves into Aries at 8:57 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time as we prepare for the full moon coming up. And the big news on Saturday, and you're probably feeling it already, because when planets shift directions, they station, it's called. And it's almost like they vibrate in place. And when you're talking about Pluto, which is what I'm going to be talking about now, we really drill down in the energy. And Pluto is intense energy, and it will be stationary direct on Saturday, the 8th. Having been retrograde since April 29th, I think I said the 23rd, but it's been retrograde since April 29th. So this adds to this intensity as we go through the week. And the characteristics of the energy of the planet intensify as it slows. It's interesting, Pluto was discovered in 1930, and that was when Carl Jung, among others, psychologists around the world, identified something called the collective unconscious, or our shadow, as some people call it, and brought shadow work into the litany of psychology and psychiatry and psychoanalysis. But what Pluto also brought, it's the farthest planet out there that most astrologers use. And it brought a time when we developed the ability to destroy ourselves and the earth. And plutonium, as a matter of fact, is the name of the element that enlivens, so to speak, the atom bomb. So the kind of destructive influence, followed by rebirth, and I want you to remember it's followed by rebirth, that kind of destructive influence, that breaking down, is what's been going on, particularly since 2008, when we have had Pluto in Capricorn focusing on our institutions, all of the institutions that come out of our belief systems, government, medicine, education, military, all of these. We're looking at all of these and the beliefs that are not supportable, that are no longer true for us, those of us who want to live on a peaceful planet with an equal playing field, opportunity-wise, for everyone. So, wherever Pluto moves forward in your chart, 26 degrees of Capricorn is where Pluto will be all month throughout October. So wherever Capricorn is in your chart, if you have planets that are between 25 and 27 degrees of the cardinal signs, Libra, Aries, Cancer, Capricorn, you may feel this movement more than others, but wherever 26 degrees of Capricorn is in your chart, something has been in the process of dissolution so that it can be not just changed, but transformed, which means a new form. Transing out of the old form into a new form. And this, these energies can seem intense and dark and deep because they ask us to dive. Pluto particularly comes with a lot of profundity and intensity, but its promise is really huge. Rebirth, transformation, huge, huge carrot. The baggage can be really difficult to unpack, especially with a sign like Capricorn, which seeks to control, in its lowest sense, to control the environment, which is what we see with a lot of these institutions. But the high side of Capricorn is self-mastery. is saying, you know, Capricorn rules maturity. So it asks us to step up to the plate, to be mature, and to know that freedom implies personal responsibility. So, you know, how has that area transformed for you since 2008 when Pluto entered Capricorn? As we're coming to the final months of this, these are good questions to ask. Pluto has a 273-year orbit, and that takes us back to when this country was born. Yes, we are in the Pluto return of the United States, and it's why we're seeing the energies that I've been describing very much afoot. And that's also why it's really as energies of power. Pluto has to do with power, power versus force. You know, the proper use of Pluto is the recognition that power is inherent. But you are going to see across the world the use of power and the misuse of power. And so that's why I encourage you not to get super involved in what the media is putting out there. Because the media has, you know, it has a dog in the fight, and it's polarized. Stay on your eagle's perch. Stay above that. I mention the eagle because the eagle has the greatest vision of any bird. It's also the highest manifestation of Scorpio, which is ruled by Pluto. So, and that's the south node. That's what we're being asked to leave behind, the old wounds, the old hurts, the things that need to be eliminated, so that we can rise through the phoenix, through these fires of purification we're going through, to be on our eagle's perch. But drop into your heart, breathe in and out of your heart, live from your heart, and you can have that perspective right now. So there are some questions, a couple of questions you can ask yourself as Pluto moves direct. Did you live a good life? You know, this throws us back on the planets that precede it. Jupiter, Saturn, and then out to the outer planets. And so you ask yourself, did you live a good life? And what do you believe in? What do you believe in? Have you used your time on planet Earth wisely? Death and rebirth are the hallmarks of this energy. So remember that out of all this tension and dissolution of the old and no longer sustainable comes new birth. And you and I are the innovators. We are the midwives. We are the creators of this new way of being. So envision that and support it, because it's interesting. Every day, if you look, like at the Farmers Coalition that was just formed, there are amazing solutions being supported and created. So focus on that. You know, I feel that source, that field of infinite consciousness, is indeed infinite and complete. And this means that whenever a problem or a challenge arises, the solution is already in place. But we've agreed to this adventure through time and space to get to that solution. And also so that we will maximize our ability as creative beings. And so we are being pushed to new levels of creativity as we become crystalline beings rather than carbon-based beings. Our DNA is shifting, everything is shifting. So be sure that you allow yourself to tune into your feelings, rest when you need to rest. Get your health in order, first and foremost. Find the balance in your life that's needed during this time of tremendous change and transformation. So, you know, between now and March, it's really good to ask yourself, are you living a good life? Are you making the most of the time you have here? And, you know, with Jupiter and Saturn still in retrograde, we had 7 planets in retrograde motion, including Chiron. Now, at the end of this week, we will have 5. So it's beginning to move forward. Saturn's going to turn direct in Aquarius on the 23rd, later this month. And then Jupiter's going to turn direct a month later, exactly, on November 23rd. So it will have backed up into Pisces by then, and it will be asking you to review your big dream, to look at your dreams. How are you walking them? How are you making them real? Are they just staying in the dream state, or are you taking steps to make them real and not allowing yourself to move into lethargy or depression about the way the world is right now, because it's all an illusion, right? You know, that this is the trick with quantum physics. We look around us and we might see the effects of yesterday. But the real secret is to come into the present moment, drop into your heart. You'll know if you're in your heart because you'll be in the present moment. You won't be having all of this stuff go on in your mind. So it's really good to do the heart drop again and again and again. And just breathe it in out of your heart. I find that when I'm listening to someone who's really exercised about something and their voice becomes really loud and you know, their determination and their opinions, I just breathe in and out of my heart and I listen. Sometimes they're just venting and there is no opening, and that's okay. And other times there really is an opening for a dialogue that will be useful and uplifting. And my heart tells me that. My heart always tells me that. So we're going to have a full moon on Saturday at 16 degrees and 32 minutes of Aries, and that'll be at 1:54 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And the moon in Aries will be lit up by the sun in Libra opposing it. So courage, bravery, boldness, these are all Aries words. And be proud of yourself as you look back to the progress you've made since the Aries new moon on April 1st. We were at the time of spring, looking at what we were going to birth, what was being birthed, looking at how we were going to cultivate that. And, you know, that birth, the first quarter of the year where we took action, and the birth of spring. So look back at what you set up then regarding your health, taking action, getting out there and exercising, moving. You know, life is movement. And when we sit too much, and it's really easy, like a lot of my business is online. So I got out and walked and looked at any tinges of autumn that were out there yesterday. This is such a gorgeous time of year. And the temperatures are cooling down. So take advantage of this time. And remember that you are pioneering a legacy. Pioneer, that's a big word for Aries too. You are pioneering a legacy. And Capricorn, with Pluto in Capricorn, that is legacy. So you are pioneering a legacy, and Aries engenders resilience and strength. So feel those in your life. Eris squares Pluto at 25 degrees of Capricorn, so stay in peace and remain calm, as Eris always brings up the rights of the individual, and this is a squaring, this top-down energy of the old way. So Chiron shines a light on health and healing. Is there some issue that has kind of been, pricking your consciousness or your awareness since spring? Take care of it. Yeah, you don't want to move into winter with that. And Aries has to do with the face, the blood through the brain, and the muscular structure. I've mentioned that Libra, opposing it, has to do with the balance in your health, the endocrine system, the bladder, the kidneys. So finding balance. The endocrine system is all about balance, about the messages that go between the hormones in your system. So, it's just as you winterize your car, autumn is a great time to look at what you need to tend to as we move into the slowed down time of winter and the light wanes. Watch for revelations at the time of this full moon. The moon and Chiron in Aries, the wounded healer, opposes the sun, and Venus in Libra. Venus is in Libra, so Venus is at home in Libra, and that really supports loving relationships. It also supports healthy boundaries. And Aries asks you, this Aries full moon asks you to look at where there may be either too much me first or not enough me first. Establishing your boundaries, letting your needs, who you are, be known as you enter into a relationship, rather than having to put up walls and boundaries later on. This is something that Libra can have a challenge with. But this Aries full moon reminds you of the power of being in balance between me and we, and being upfront about what you need, rather than, for instance, giving up your whole schedule to accommodate someone else. And you've got your own vision, so it's important to find this meeting point, these win-win solutions to these situations. So, there's a potential for peace. I find that looking at Iran really is showing us a lot of what's going on with the world situation. You might see this reflected, Russia, Ukraine, the floods in Florida. There's a lot of turbulence playing out in the world as these old systems crumble. And it's sort of like some people are so deeply asleep that they have to be really jolted awake. So just know it's a time of awakening. And you know what it's like if you wake up from a deep, deep sleep. If someone shakes you awake, it can be a really upsetting process. But ultimately, you get waked up, you stand on your own 2 feet, and you seize the day. And that's what we're being asked to do. Legal developments may occur related to sickness and health. Some of those are revelations may occur. Peace, solutions. This is a good focus for our energy. And it's really important that we focus our energy because, as we know, Aries, ruled by Mars, people can be very chatty. They can have barbed communication, stinging communication. They can just talk and talk and talk for no particular reason. All these things may be going on. And with the Aries, there can be a lot of fire behind the words. So, again, drop into your heart so you can feel. You can feel where they're coming from and what's really going on. Sifting, analyzing, big word for this time, for this full moon, and for this whole, month and next month that we're moving into is discernment. Be discerning, which is, it's different than getting caught in analysis paralysis or getting, stuck on the worry go round. This is one of the challenges as Mercury moves forward in Virgo, figuring life out rather than living it. That you're not present if you're worrying because you are affirming what you don't want. So shift to affirming what you do want. Develop your own mantras for that. So there's a T-square between Neptune and Mercury that's great for imagination and dreaming, but not necessarily for clarity. So, you can use this energy well. Judy, I know you're an artist. Michael, you have a lot of creative energy, and I'm sure that's true for many of you out there. And this is a great thing to allow that fiery spirit of the Aries full moon to engender. Whatever you put out or focus on in each present moment, remember, creates a future reality. And again, it's really good to just take a fast from the media. Just take a fast from it. I remember years ago when I was working in Colorado, there was a gal who would read for me. And she would say to me when I would be concerned about something or obsessing a bit over something. And I've done a lot of spiritual work since then. This is 30 years ago. And she would just say, it's all handled. It's all handled. And that's where the faith, the connection to Source daily, the connection with your sources of inspiration, the living from your heart, dropping into your heart, all of this comes into play. The world needs your sanity right now. So remember that also that, with the ruler of this full moon, Mars in Gemini, Gemini is local. Aquarius is local, and Pluto's going to be moving into Aquarius in March of next year. So, look at positive engagement in your community. What can you do locally? There's that phrase, I think, is it Thomas Wolfe, the world is too much with us. So don't allow the world to be too much with you, but look at how you can engage positively with the world around you locally. Aquarius is the sign of community and friendship and groups and organizations. And we are reminded, particularly at this time, from now through March and then beyond, to act locally. We can think globally and be aware that our very vibration and frequency has an impact globally. But meanwhile, act locally, think locally. And remember the creative power of appreciation and gratitude, compassion and love as you welcome the light of the full moon into your heart and do your release work and make your wish. And that's what the full moon's about. New moons are the time for setting intentions. Full moons are the time to release and make your wish. So the process for that, as I've mentioned before, is to do a brain dump and just, write down everything you're releasing, everything that could get in the way of that wish that you want to have come true, and then burn that piece of paper. You're not going to copy the list to anything else because you're letting it all go. And as that paper burns and the smoke is released, just know that that smoke is taking all of those things you're releasing out of every cell of your body, out of every parsec of your existence, and just taking it back into its native nothingness. And as it does that, feel the clearing. And then close your eyes. Your wish should be concise, clear, and you get a visual, a picture of your wish. Full living Technicolor. Spend some moments getting a really good picture of that wish. Take a breath, drop into your heart, and then step into that picture. And feel what it feels like to have that wish come true right now in that moment. Feel the relief, perhaps, the enthusiasm, the joy of a wish come true, of your life as that wish come true right now. Feel that with every cell of your body. And then when you really, really feel that ramped up, ramp it up more and let it go through your skin and fill your auric field so that both within you and without you, you are, from in the inside out, you are vibrating with the frequency of your wish come true. Aries is one of the most powerful full moons, if not the most powerful, for wishes come true. So I wish you happy wishing. Join me on Joan of Angels on Saturday. I'll be talking more about the full moon. We always have fun with our interviews. If a reading is in the stars for you, if you'd like to navigate these life-changing, transformative energies that are afoot, especially over these next 3 months, and be ready to make the most of 2023 as we move into a time when the changes really become apparent and we're living them, then go to my Moon-Powered Astrology page on Facebook. You'll find the link for a reading. Click on it. Make your appointment. We'll have a free chat so that your reading is of the most benefit to you, and you can pay there as well. Like me, comment, share me. You know it warms my heart when you do. And remember, have a great week. Pay attention to the moon. Just keep yourself at your highest frequency. Drop into your heart again and again, because you are the light of the world. You are the change that you want to see. And it's all good. We're in a time of amazing, amazing awakening and transformation. It's very exciting. And now, as always, I love you to the moon and way beyond. Thanks for listening.